Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. New York's about to open. We've got about 40 seconds, 42 seconds for New York to open. Um, One thing I definitely don't like is I want this to be closer because I want my voice to be able to be heard a lot better. So, okay, okay, okay. All right. So a little bit of bias for today. Market opens yesterday at 6. Let me pause this real quick. All right. Hold on. Hold on. Actually, while I do this, New York open. So let's see what we do. All right, we're currently rejecting off of those highs. 56.44, we rejected off of it. We want to see a breakout of 56.25. Because what do we see? We see ES have 15 minute, pretty heavy 15-minute fair value gap right here. Right here, which we did retest, barely touched. The 5 minute for ES, I would expect this to come hit this eventually. But as of the moment we did reject of as of the moment we did reject of this, my bad, I'm speaking too low. Alright. So the moment we reject off of this 15-minute fair value gap, right? And we see NQ is kind of doing the same. NQ didn't really tap into that fair value gap, but it did tap into this pretty much resistance kind of. We haven't really broken out of that area. Got my Sunny D over here. All right, quite a bit of selling pressure on ES. We see that 15-minute moving quite a bit. We see breakup structure on the 5. We could see potential inverse movement on this trend if we break out of this high, if we close onto this 56.25, 56.28, I mean 56.29, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we're still kind of, wait, 56.31. All right, so we are actually below the zone. Okay. We do want to see kind of a drop. So I am in kind of a long bias today. I would say I want to see some kind of drop down to 55.25, 55.23, and then I'll probably enter longs. But if not, we also know that we have news at 10. We got news at 10. So we got, what is it, PMI? Let me check. Yeah, so at 10 we got East USD, ISM manufacturing PMI, and then we have ES USD JOLTS job opening. Other than that, we do have 9:45. We have final manufacturing PMI. It's not red, but it's like semi, it's like medium way. Currently 56. We retest on what? 56.27, 56.27, 56.24, 56. Alright, so we retest off of that fair value gap. If we go and fully invert 56.60, we'll probably go into, yeah, if we invert this whole thing, we'll probably straight go into longs. But I would want to see that first drop come all the way down to 58, 55.82, somewhere around there, or 56.02. But 5582 was where I was kind of seeing yesterday. The yeah, somewhere around right here. That was kind of a low that I'm kind of predicting, or I kind of want to get taken down so that we can have a greater move all the way to the upside and just be a little more sure on that. So we're definitely not waiting until like 10, 15, kind of. We're just gonna wait, see what news do, and then we'll see what we have for the day. NQ is having quite a bit of volatility on that, a lot of indecision. Russell 2000 is currently under point 59.60%. You were stuck in this stumbles at the open. Yeah. Alright, you guys, smile. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm trying to pause the live. Alright, so this 608 is a level that I definitely wanna see get tapped into. Alright. All right.
Well, Katie, lots moving under the hood this morning. I'm keeping an eye on airlines companies. We saw Jefferies that downgraded a swath of these companies this morning, and we are seeing them tumbling. This is more on the outlook about the consumer and what the outlook seems to be for corporate spending. The analysts are saying that Delta is likely to cut its annual forecast, but they do expect that American Airlines and Southwest Airlines must cut their annual forecast. We do have Delta earnings that are reporting next Wednesday. They'll be the first to kick off the company's earnings, so that'll be lots to keep an eye on. But also keeping an eye on Intel. So shares were earlier in the green in pre-market trading, but they are since now declining. But analysts were encouraged by the new CEO's messaging during a keynote speech at Intel's Vision 2025 event. They said that he had a candid tone and he really focused on the idea of rebuilding consumer trust as well as rebuilding engineering. But analysts are still saying that any successful turnaround for the company will take at least several quarters and it will be difficult to execute. Last but not least, I wanted to keep an eye on the name that's in the green. I'm keeping an eye on PVH. It's the owner of Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger. We're seeing shares up for double-digit gains. They're expecting sales growth to be flat or slightly positive this year. This is different from what the street was expecting. They were expecting about a half percentage point decline. Evercore saying that some of the company's initiatives are starting to stabilize the business, but we do have the stock that is still down almost 40% this year.
Nora, thanks very much. Nora Melinda there talking us through a couple of the stock movers coming out. The Trump administration targets ticket scalpers and fees on tickets, and shares of companies like Vivid Seats lower. Details on that executive order next as stocks fall 10 minutes into the session with the S&P down now more than 0.5%. This is Bloomberg Open Interest.
All right, so we're definitely seeing somewhat of a movement trying to draw down to those lows. We haven't closed above that 56.31. Which
this is the fundamental building of our future technology.
Everyone is selling the future. If you want to understand what's happening,
50.61 being under that level. I mean, it's still that golden level. It's like 50-50. Yeah, I mean, we have kind of more of a long side, but we'll see what kind of goes through.
Stories about what inside the big investment decisions throughout the morning. I'm Doug Johnson. I'm Katie Gupta.
All right, we're seeing that heavy dump. But then look at how NQ is staying behind. Look at how much ES is moving. Look at how NQ is staying behind. It's kind of
$1 trillion industry. We'll show you what's happening in ETFs like no one else. ETF IQ only on Bloomberg.
Good morning. This is Bloomberg Cement.
Welcome back to the opening trade.
This is Bloomberg Technology.
This is the Asia trade.
This is Wall Street Week. Welcome to Balance of Power.
This is Bloomberg Television.
Listen carefully.
All right, you're starting to see NQ starting to revert back to the upside, but we'll see what could really happen there. Let me see.
All right, welcome back to Open Interest. A quick check on stocks. We're a couple minutes into the session. You can see that the S&P 500 not quite at session lows, but still having a pretty rough Tuesday, down about 0.3%. Big tech is actually
Yeah, we're not so yet there at session lows. We're kind of like still in between.
The Russell 2000 down about 0.7%. There's a bullish case out there that these companies are more domestically focused and that they should be more insulated from those tariffs, but you're not seeing that logic play out today. It's time now for our top calls. Some of the analyst action in focus this morning. And first up, we have Shake Shack getting upgraded to a buy over at Loop Capital on its earnings upside. The analyst says that Shake Shack has minimal risk to those tariffs since it sources nearly all of its ingredients domestically. That's good for a 2% rally. Next up, Ulta getting raised to a buy over at Goldman Sachs. Analysts say that the beauty industry has likely reached a bottom and that Ulta is seeing an uptick in sales. And finally, we have Keurig Dr. Pepper getting raised to a buy over at Morgan Stanley on its growth potential. The analyst also says that, quote, the worst is over when it comes to coffee prices, Matt.
Thank goodness. I'm glad the worst is over there. President Trump signed an executive order alongside Kid Rock was in the Oval Office, and he was dressed like that. That's not a joke. This is real life. We're reporting the news on what's happening in Washington, D.C. In any case, this order is designed to crack down on ticket scalping and fees that drive up the costs of attending live events. It orders agencies to promote competition and ticket price transparency. Shares of Live Nation are actually up right now, and shares of Vivid Seats are down. Bloomberg's Michaela Gardner reported on this and joins us. Michaela, it seems like people in Washington, starting with John McCain, have been making noise about this for as long as I can remember, and yet nothing ever happens. These ticket vendors are still ripping us off every chance they get. Do we have hope now?
Well, President Trump certainly hopes that they do. He signed this executive order yesterday, as you mentioned, in the Oval Office alongside Kid Rock, someone who has been a fervent supporter of the president and campaigned with him. And he really talked about musicians don't really see the profits that a lot of these ticket resales have, these added fees that many of these companies add on. It's also something that
That's pretty fucking wild, man.
his time in office, he called this junk fees. And he saw some
Alright. Actually, I need to fix this freaking hair. Like, on some, like, serious talk. Because now I just look like a... Nah. I look hella crazy now. Even my nose looks deformed. Whatever. But I seriously need to, like, get an actual cut. Probably get, like, a fade. Nah, it's just... Oh my god, back at 56, 42, 43, 42, back at 56, 45. Wow. We could go up to take that 56, 60, 56, 74. Which would be the outlier to the above. And then we could take the sweep of that outlier and go straight down to the downside with knowing that Trump is going to release tariffs tomorrow. So a lot of the sentiment could be straight down to the downside. Depending on what happens tomorrow, we drop a little more to keep to grab some orders, some liquidity, and then bounce back. Maybe, because I don't think we're going to try and keep going down too much. I believe we are already kind of low. Like, we are too low. Yo, I have unibrow now. Wait, what? Or however you freaking say that, but fuck. Um, but yeah, so I don't think we'll go too far down, simply because we are kind of low already. I feel like Trump's tariffs for well, initially Trump announced it before that the first was gonna be one of the, well, not the first because he didn't want to April Fool Day. The second, saying that it's gonna be a heavy tariff. We'll see what he has for us, what he brings to the table, and then yeah, I mean, so that's why I would say the market wouldn't want to keep, like, my point is, even if Trump is releasing heavy tariffs tomorrow, or is what is expected to be heard, I believe we're already kind of low. We're already too. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys something.
Yes, every
All right.
even every day. And
This is where I initially want us to go, but I was expecting London to kind of like, instead of having this move right here, have it like right here, so that ES had an easier drop to grab it, and then we would just come up and take and just rip through. But that's what I'm expecting to do today, so that tomorrow we rip through. But I don't know. But I was gonna show something. Hold on. We go to the 4 hour on ES. So we have already taken this, right? We have already taken those two lows over here. We have already taken liquidity and sweep those two lows right there after a pretty aggressive sell. You know, we have been on a pretty aggressive selling market for about a couple weeks now, about like almost, yeah, like 3 weeks. So what's going on here? We either have Trump. So okay, another thing I'm seeing now, low key, is this retest that we have right here. It's kind of shaping onto the same. So we have this right here, we have this retest, we have this retest, come down. We see some mitigation in between this middle, but still drop us down to take these lows. Sweep here, come up, take here, but don't take those highs. We come and retest here pretty much, but we also sweep. We got mitigation. Alright, one thing I could. Oh, you see this? It could just. It could so easily just drop today, which is what I want. But then we'll probably just go and grab liquidity from this high. 56.77, which is pretty much what I'm thinking. 56.74 is outlier. We take that outlier and then we come back down to the downside. So we are over. We have been on a 3 week kind of just sell off and sell up and sell up. So we could see Trump tomorrow dump the market and then get these lows, or do it sometime today after we get outlier, and then we could be seeing some of that equilibrium hit and break structure to invert back to the upside. We could be seeing that, but it's just too oversold right now, man. It's been a crazy ride so far.
This is, to me, one of the most interesting.
God damn. I'm so like. I need to like. Hold on. I need to go blow my nose. look like shit right now. We have always looked like that.
Surging in IPO debut. CoreWeave has struggled since its downsized IPO. We're going to break down both stories with Bloomberg's Bailey Lipschultz. Okay, Newsmax. Let's just start there to Matt's point here. It's priced at $10. It's trading at nearly $130, 13 times higher. Didn't hire Major League Wall Street Bank, hired Digital Offerings LLC. Really interesting move there. What is going on?
Yeah, we see this from time to time with tiny IPOs. $75 million is pennies relative to bigger banks. When we look at some of the data, and we had a chart in our story yesterday, we had a number of companies, about 2 dozen, when you go back in the last 5 years, that popped more than 300% in their day one IPO. So we're talking about companies, Matt, maybe you've never heard of: UPower, Molecule Group, Newton Golf Company. My favorite is Adentax, was up 13,000% day one.
I think it's a Dentax.
A Dentax. Okay.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea. I've heard of none of
It
those.
sounds official, but all of those pretty much down 100% from the peak. This does happen. There is maybe in retail meme flavor, we are seeing the likes of kind of chatter on StockTwits. We've seen it popping up on Fidelity's platform among their top 25 most bought companies. You do have scarcity value, so it's not a big float. Not a lot of shares out there. If you bought it at 10, you don't want to sell it yet. And if you're on your Robinhood app trying to get orders in, you're just market buying.
And to Matt's point here, because they didn't hire Goldman, maybe since the small IPO, they saved a little money there in terms of the public offering.
If you don't hire the bank that's paying $80 million to its CEO.
Well, I'm sure that some of the bankers at Goldman are watching this and chuckling a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit too about just the types of IPOs that we're doing in terms of size specifically, because you have Newsmax, you have CoreWeave, which, by the way, is up today, even though it had a pretty rough debut last week. These are smaller companies. They're not tiny, but they're not huge.
Well, it's very much divide, right? So when you look at year to date, we have 3 IPOs to raise more than $600 million. CoreWeave, one of them, $1.5 billion. So that is what we would call a blockbuster IPO, one of the biggest IPOs, biggest tech IPOs since ARM in late 2023. But to your point, with a lot of these small deals, that's when you see stocks swing around. So they're very different in that way. Obviously, their banks are different. Their buyers who are trading this are different. I think that if you talk to a fundamental investor about CoreWeave, the thought is a long-term thesis. If you're talking to someone who's buying Newsmax at $130, I'm gonna assume they're hoping that someone wants to pay $200 for it. You're a fool, but that's kind of where it's at. And it has shades of meme stocks, but also kind of de-SPACs that we've done.
Bailey, great to have you on because you covered all that stuff for us. When we come back, we're going to talk about the economic data in the next hour. And Jim Tenenbaum joins us of Foresight Capital.
Alright, well, PMI comes out in 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So let's see what that has for us. Bloomberg. There we go.
Why is Baltimore so important to you? State's largest city. And if your state's largest city is not thriving, your state can't thrive. And that is just a mathematical equation, because the only way this is going to be Maryland's decade is if it's Baltimore's time. And so that's why we did focus on things like being able to extend the Orioles' lease and make sure the Orioles continue for 30 years. It's the reason we focus on things like the Preakness and keeping the Preakness in Maryland for generations to come, while we invested in the convention center. The reason we focused on housing and getting rid of the vacant housing. The reason we focused on violent crime. And now Baltimore is having the most precipitous drop of anywhere in the country when it comes to homicides and non-fatal shootings and carjackings and auto thefts. So if you can have Baltimore thriving, your state is going to thrive. So if somebody's watching this and they're not from Maryland, but they want to know a little bit about Maryland, what would you encapsulate in a paragraph or two about what people should know about the state of Maryland? I would say Maryland really is American myth. You tell me what you want to do. And no matter where you're standing in the state of Maryland, I can tell you where to have a world-class experience. And guess what? We're the home of innovation. We're the home of Johns Hopkins University, the home of the NSA, the home of myth. We have so much to offer in the state of Maryland, and I think it's one of the reasons that people are so excited about the growth trajectory.
Bloomberg has the Fed decision under surveillance with the fastest coverage and exclusive analysis, including Powell's press conference. Nobody covers the Fed like Bloomberg.
All right, PMI just came out. All right, we took out PMI. I mean, actually, hold on. Let me see something right here real quick. Oh my god, bro. When did I choose to do that? Dude.
I'm Wendy Gillette. Another federal agency is getting hit with layoffs today. This time, the Department of Health and Human Services. Up to 10,000 workers could lose their jobs. CBS's Alex Tin.
Notices began to be mailed out early Tuesday morning to thousands of workers at public health agencies throughout the Department of Health and Human Services, notifying them that they would be laid off as part of Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s restructuring of the department. In many parts of the department, entire teams and divisions were cut as part of the changes, and several senior leaders, including the FDA's top tobacco regulator, Dr. Brian King, were also put on leave.
Vice President J.D. Vance is defending the deportation of a man from El Salvador who had legal protection, saying he was an MS-13 gang member. CBS immigration reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez on his stats.
In 2019, an immigration judge granted him something called withholding of removal, which is a legal protection from deportation for people who are found that they are likely to be persecuted in their home country if they are deported.
There's not much notice.
All right, we just took data lows.
To announce reciprocal tariffs tomorrow. Georgetown trade expert Jennifer Hillman says that's problematic.
The Customs Service needs to plan for what goods are they imposing tariffs on. The importers need to plan for what documentation they need to require.
The most expensive judicial race in U.S. history is unfolding today in Wisconsin, deciding the balance of the state Supreme Court. CBS's Tareen Small on its significance.
Ultimately, the fate of the Democrat who was governor there, his agenda is on the line there, as well as ultimately any injunctions that we could see come out if any of Donald Trump's executive orders or actions are challenged.
Tens of thousands are still in the dark after a major storm hit parts of the Midwest. Some gas stations in lower Michigan are still waiting for the power to be restored. Michigan State Police Lieutenant Kim Vetter.
We're trying to keep emergency vehicles on the roadways with the gasoline that is available. So if you can, just remember not at home, grab some wind, start a fire if you have a fireplace, read a book, keep people entertained, but stay home, stay safe.
The women's Final Four is set. UConn, Texas, UCLA, and the defending champion, South Carolina, leading the past two seasons with the tournament for the Atlantic.
South Carolina, they've been such a dominant team.
Nothing yet, man.
Despite, lots of turnover. I mean, last year's team that went undefeated and won the national championship, they lost 5 players to the WNBA the year prior.
Stocks are down. This is CBS News.
All right, we're having. Shut up. We're having the rejection data. Those data lows. We took those data lows. I mean, we took those data lows. I would be expecting us kind of like right away take those data highs, or we just continue on either range day, I mean, or just not do anything today. We're seeing continuation back to data lows.
A federal judge says Alabama's attorney general cannot prosecute people and groups who help Alabama women travel to other states to get abortions. The judge sided with an abortion fund and medical providers who sued State Attorney General Steve Marshall. Marshall has suggested that conspiracy laws could be used to prosecute people who help Alabama women go out of state for abortion. There have been no prosecutions up to now. Alabama bans abortion at any stage of pregnancy with no exceptions for rape and incest. Steve Nathan, CBS News.
Investigators in Costa Rica say high levels of carbon monoxide were found in 14-year-old Miller Gardner's hotel room. The American team was vacationing with his family, including father Brett, a former New York Yankees player. Miller died March 21st. Toxicology tests are still pending. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
This is Bloomberg Intelligence.
The real outperformance has been the U.S. corporate high yield.
Are the companies lean enough? Have they trimmed all the fat?
The semiconductor business is a really cyclical business.
Breaking market headlines and corporate news from across the globe.
Do investors like the M&A that we've seen?
These are two big-time blue-chip companies.
The window between the peak and cut changing super fast.
Bloomberg Intelligence with Alex Steele and Paul Sweeney on Bloomberg Radio.
Good Tuesday morning from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio in New York City to our worldwide audience. Economic data out there, ISM data. We're going to get to in just a moment. We're than expected, so we'll break that down in just a moment. We're going to check in with Sarah Ponczek. She's a financial advisor at UBS Private Wealth Management. She's calling her clients these days. Ira Jersey, Bloomberg Intelligence chief, U.S. interest rate strategist for when the tariffs and enough to inflation should lead to rate hikes and a recession. That's kind of one of the fears out there about this unknown. Right now, let's go to Tim Fiore, break it down. He's the chairman of the Manufacturing Business Survey for the Institute for Supply Management. Tim, talk to us about this ISM data.
To get your work done because there are fewer people, there are fewer regulators.
Well, time will tell. It could go in a bunch of different directions, and changes, brings uncertainty, and that's a little scary.
Oh wow, okay, we're seeing that drop.
That there's
Yes, taking those lows.
To bring incredible products to market.
56.16 being touched.
For the agency.
I just don't know how to draw
56.10,
because I think
56.16.
in terms of the IRS, right? Initially, you're sort of knee-jerk as a taxpayer. You're like, yes, fewer IRS workers to take my money away. But then you realize that your refund isn't going to take 6 weeks. It's going to take 16 weeks to get your bank account,
Or the
right?
financial financial services sector, where fewer regulators, a lot of people are excited about it. But in your case, you need these drugs to get approved.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's going to be short-term uncertainty for sure. But I think the big picture is innovation is going to win. I think that's the big picture. It's going to win because it's right for America. It's going to win because it always does.
So you have a broad portfolio here. You have health care tech, you have life sciences, you have therapeutics. As an investor, do you pivot? Do you shift to some areas versus others based on what's happening in the macro right now?
Yeah, a great question. So first, I think we're living in an unprecedented time. Over the last 30 years, I think that this is probably the most fertile time for transformation over the next decade. What's going to bring that? Well, AI is already we're starting to see the transformative effects of AI across many different segments of the economy. It has not started yet in healthcare, really. Genomics, gene editing, all the advances in biology, all put together with AI systems are going to enable things like computers designing drugs, like actually doing the whole drug design start to finish. It's going to enable the change of the whole healthcare economy from an economy where healthcare is delivered to the average person with the average care for that person to individualized healthcare delivered. And that individualized healthcare is delivered by AI bots that are specialized for you. And what do they help you do? They help you figure out how to live your longest possible life, given your genetics and given, whatever else can be measured that's modifiable. So, so now the technology is available for this.
Right.
It's going to be put together and it's going to get rolled out over the next decade. And it's going to be stunning in terms of the impact that it has on all of us.
Well, Jim, I'm really eager to hear your thoughts specifically on GLP-1s because I'm taking a look at the notes you sent over. You talk about category killer therapeutics. I think it's safe to put GLP-1s in that basket. And it kind of reminds me of AI because you have just a few leaders and then you have a bunch of other companies trying to catch up. I think something similar is happening in the GLP-1 space. What does that mean for you as an investor?
Well, first, I think in general, winners take all, and the GLP-1s that have won here are really good. They're both very good. The Novo product, the Lilly product, fantastic. By the way, it's a product that helps you look better, but also helps you live longer.
Right.
And that's a key thing. It's been studied for, basically cardiovascular, effects. It's been shown to be superior for those people that take it. And why? Because it takes fat that makes your blood cells more efficient to insulin. It takes fat away from liver cells and kidney cells and probably nerve cells, but all the cells in your body. Anyway, there are other category killer categories that are coming along right now. I think a really interesting one is pain. I mean, God knows we need less opioids. So there's a new class of pain medication that was just introduced by Vertex. It's called a NaV1.8 inhibitor. It works right at the nerve. And we're going to see that whole family, NaV1.8, NaV1.7, NaV1.9. We have a company in a category, Latigo. But these are pain-relieving medications that are non-addictive, non-sedating, get rid of opioids. That's a big category. That's something we're all going to use. Another area for those of us that have autoimmunity is there's a whole series of next-generation products for autoimmunity. One wave takes all these biologics that are used, all these injectables that are used for autoimmunity, turns them into pills. Johnson & Johnson has one that's coming to market as an oral IL-23. We have one that's coming to market in the next generation TYK2 inhibitor. These are game changers for people.
By the way, speaking of game changer, are you going to start watching where the companies you invest in get the ingredients that they put in these solutions? Because I saw a stat in a Bloomberg story this morning that 90% of biotechs have products with half of the ingredients imported from overseas, i.e. they're going to get hit by tariffs.
Yes. Well, and we're going to look at, we always look at chain of everything, right? So you want duplicity of chain. And now when you look at chain, you're looking at U.S. And that's the whole idea, right? The whole idea is to include U.S. as part of the chain. And right now, if you were to look at that chain, as you said, it's not U.S. There's not one line of the chain that's U.S. So that for sure is a side effect of that. And that causes some short-term inefficiencies, but it's long-term better for all the people in chain that are in America.
We're talking so much about investment opportunities, but I'm equally interested in exit opportunities. You are looking at an M&A market that has been pretty shut, but you're investing at earlier stages. I'm wondering what the prospects are to exit these companies. Do you feel that you might have to wait, given what the market looks like?
I think a combination of corporate tax cuts, the FTC, a way better FTC environment, and the need for farm to fill their pipelines are going to mean that the M&A is going to come back in our segment.
January feels like a long time away. Katie was talking to Harvey Farman, executive, ready to buy. It'll come back.
We've been waiting for this to happen. Jim, we just haven't seen it, right? We haven't seen the.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. My world does not move by minutes. It moves by quarters and years. And I think that directionally, over the course of the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot of purchases in pharma.
Jim, we thank you for joining us here on set. That is Jim Tannenbaum of Foresight Capital on an industry a lot of investors are watching very closely at this juncture. Now, coming up, the $80 million retention bonuses for Goldman's top 2 leaders are gaining another prominent critic. We're going to talk about what's going on there next in the Wall Street Beat. This is Bloomberg Open Interest.
Markets never sleep, and neither does Interactive Brokers. Discover more opportunities with CME futures across equity indices, interest rates, FX.
All right, a little idea of what's going on. We're currently at 5607. We're 5610. We're under that level. 5697 would be the next level. I would say he's probably 97. I mean, it's just not too far from reality, but I'd rather wait. He's having that aggressive sell-off that I was looking for. So I would say I'll probably wait for us to come down to 55.97. And that would be pretty much kind of at those lows. We would have still a lot to go down, but
We're scaling up at incredible pace.
This region is growing so rapidly.
The opportunities really huge.
On Bloomberg, context changes everything.
Bloomberg brings you breaking news 24 hours a day.
Dow Jones is down $463.
In more than 100 bureaus across the globe. Bloomberg Television. Context changes everything. Get your fixed income fix. Watch Bloomberg Real Yield every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on Bloomberg. Context changes everything. It's Jobs Day, and Bloomberg has the report under surveillance.
This is another read on the U.S. labor market.
Workers are staying longer than you expected. How do firms actually deal with that new data point?
This Friday, Jonathan, Lisa, Anne-Marie, and Mike will bring you crucial data and expert analysis at terminal speed.
I do go back to what the lag time is between the soft data and the hard data. What's the lag data for the DOGE effect?
That would speak to the anxiety in the labor market right now.
The March Jobs Report, Friday on Bloomberg.
Let's get now to high interest look at what's making headlines around the world. A year-long rally in global credit may be ignoring recession risk. Chris Ellis, a portfolio manager at AXA Investment, is sounding the alarm on this so-called gray swan event. In contrast to the sell-off in other asset classes, very little bad news has been priced into credit markets so far. Strategists at JP Morgan modeled that in the middle of last month, the S&P 500 was pricing in a 33% chance of a recession here in the U.S. Credit, meanwhile, was only pricing in 9 to 12% odds. And as a Bloomberg scoop, Howard Lutnick is signaling he may withhold promised CHIPS Act grants as he pushes companies to expand their U.S. projects. The Commerce Chief wants firms that won awards from the 2022 CHIPS and Science Act to follow in the footsteps of TSMC, which recently announced it will invest another $100 billion in U.S. plants on top of a previous $65 billion pledge. Big Goldman Sachs bonuses are drawing criticism. The firm's $80 million retention bonuses for both the CEO, David Solomon, and President John Waldron are, quote, poor practice, according to Institutional Shareholder Services, which is urging investors to reject the big payouts. The proxy advisor added that the pricey incentives lack rigorous preset performance criteria, which is particularly concerning for off-cycle awards with such large values. In a separate recommendation late last week, Glass Lewis described the latest bonuses as excessive. Shanali?
We are going to get into those Goldman pay packages in today's Wall Street Beat. Joining us now, Bloomberg finance reporter Todd Gillespie. We've seen this before. Not always at Goldman. We've
We've seen it at JP Morgan, for example. We've seen instances when you've had these proxy advisory firms push back. It doesn't always mean the bank makes changes. The shareholders then have to vote on it. How do you expect this to play out based on what we've seen happen in the past?
Yeah, I mean, totally makes sense, right? Back in 2021, when Jamie Dimon, or 2022, I think Jamie Dimon got handed a $50 million retention bonus just out of the blue. You know, shareholders voted against that. I think only 31% of shareholders at the time voted in support of that pay package. But and what? These banks can still go ahead most of the time regardless, can still hand out these bonuses to these executives, right? These banks are citing, you know, super fierce competition for top executives at the top of finance, particularly in an environment now where banks are, you know, fighting for talent against private equity firms with deeper pockets. You know, we know that John Waldron, for example, has had to turn down jobs from other top PE firms across the street. Goldman claims that it's doing what it needs to do to attract top talent. Whether this is the right way to do it, who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to see there. And as you mentioned, these are retention bonuses specifically when it comes to John Waldron. But I mean, have we ever seen a case where then the bonuses were knocked down? I mean, where realistically will this go, other than having a bit of bad press?
It's pretty unlikely they're going to be knocked down at this point. I think it would also show that Goldman, you know, it would be a bad look for Goldman probably from an optics perspective if they were to knock them down. I mean, one thing Goldman does say is right that these are stock-based awards. It's technically not $80 million each. It's $80 million worth of shares back in January. So the value of this could go up or go down over the next 5 years for these executives. So they argue that, you know, these are aligned with what shareholders want. You know, you're incentivizing David Solomon and John Waldron to do the best work that they can to increase shareholder value because it's now in their own interest more than it ever has been, right? But one thing that ISS is just saying, you know, and they came out last night with this report, is that, you know, it's quite poor practice for banks to be having multiple off-cycle bonuses at the same time, because both John and David got similar retention bonuses back in 2021, which still actually haven't vested yet. They vested in 2026. 30 million for David Solomon back in the time, and 20 million for John Waldron, roughly speaking, based on the, you know, on the price of those shares back when those were set. So, you know, they're really laying it on thick right now.
Is there anyone out there who says, I don't care if you pay David Solomon and John Waldron $80 million each. Give them $100 million each, because their stock has returned 315% over the last 5 years. They beat out every single bank on the street. They've done better than JP Morgan. They've done better than Bank America. They've done better than Wells Fargo. They've done way better than Citi. I mean, as long as I'm making money, what do I care if they're making money?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, over the past 5 years, and we're taking the depths of COVID as the benchmark, it's a little bit difficult. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's
I always look at a 5-year period just to make it fair. I'm not cherry picking duration, right?
Sure.
I've been looking at a 5-year period for 25 years.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's up 140%, I think, since David Solomon became CEO. So yeah, I mean, one could say absolutely, sure, these make sense, but at the same time, you know, it's like, how do you know that these are the executives that are actually, you know, the ones absolutely, you know, without them, could Goldman have got the same share performance that they have done? It's hard to know. We don't know that counterfactual.
But to me, as an investor, if you quadruple my money, I don't care.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
It's interesting too. I've got to say, just a quick comment on this also. What's interesting to me is that both David Solomon and John Waldron this year was tapped to actually join the board also. And so a lot of the decision making really coming up to these two folks, and John very obviously being kept around to try to keep the top job. We have to leave it there because we're out of time. Could go on. Todd Gillespie, of course. And not that you guys want this note, but we are only about a couple weeks away now, less than a couple weeks away from bank earnings. So we'll see if the money they bought in the last year is matching, and the first quarter is matching the last couple of years. Now, still ahead, we're going to look at some more stocks under the surface. Roblox launching a new format of video advertising on its gaming platform. We're going to give you details on open interest next. This is Bloomberg.
Markets never sleep, and neither does Interactive Brokers. Discover more opportunities with CME futures across equity indices, interest rates, FX, energy, agriculture, and metals. Access CME futures around the clock at Interactive Brokers.
The fundamental forces driving global hospitality are phenomenal. At IHG, we think we are the leader in bringing true hospitality for good around the world with our with our relationships, with our connections in over 100 countries. Working with Wells Fargo is fundamental to our business model. And
all right, so I would say this is kind of like the one trade that I saw could be the one to work. We have already taken liquidity from both sessions. We see the inversion. We see breakup structure. We take it a little earlier so we have more space, because that way if it inverts, that way we just know that it just was going to keep going down. We also have a 5610 level, which we broke out, which we're kind of breaking out of. Hopefully we fully have a break out of. And that level is a 40% kind of long from there. So we'll see what we can do here, and then just write this out to pretty much sessions highs. Wouldn't be bad take. Take data highs. Wouldn't mind it.
Jefferies analysts coming out and downgrading American Airlines and Delta from a hold or from to a hold from a buy rather. Southwest, Air Canada also getting some downgrades as well. That's really weighing on the sector right now, as well as you consider the potential impact of tariffs. Some venturing that maybe you'll see less Europeans traveling to the U.S., which obviously would hit some of these companies. Speaking of other companies, they're across all industries preparing for President Trump's tariff announcement tomorrow.
Yes, regarding Q had the sweep.
Next. This is Bloomberg.
On the 15, the 5 minute, on the 5 minute. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the strategy. It's
and neither does Interactive Brokers.
just wait for it and then see if this works out or not. I'll probably move to break even if once we take data lows. If we get up over there and we take data lows, I'll probably move to break even.
More opportunity.
I do think we kind of need some music. Yo, what's good, Eddie? We had news today of PMI. You know, hoy teníamos noticias de PMI. What should we kind of put today? I'm like thinking. thinking. Looks like he's having a hard time right there on the 56-16 level. Is it 56-8, 56-19 level? Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a level right there, but I feel like we can break out of it. Again, I would have liked to enter right here, but it is what it is, you know? Oh, I'm trying to put some music. Hold on. Open up this. Hold on. To the children of the sky. We're having quite a lot of rejection in that area. Come on. Let's break out of it. This give me that inversion. Give me that inversion. Oh yeah. Fuck. Huh? Alright. Hold on. Hold on. To the children of the sky. Children of the sky. Don't take no for an answer, no. Right here, spread love. Everybody's joined together now. One race, one heart, love and unity. Everybody say. thinking of closing just because it's having such a hard time on that level. I'm gonna close all. I'm gonna close both. He's having too much of a hard time. I know we could have just left it, but I feel like it's already having such a hard time.
One of these people uses the new Colgate Total Active Prevention System. It's 15 times more effective at fighting the root cause of many oral health problems. As for the other guy,
Sarah? Good luck.
be dentist ready with Colgate Total.
It's like having, I mean, technically we're just like break even, which I don't mind. But you just gotta know when to take profits, man. Because sometimes the market is just not gonna give it to you. Or sometimes it might, but it's just, you know. Open up the sky. Hold on. It's like this could be the entry of the 5-minute. You test here. Break of structure. If this closes above, I'll enter. But only if it closes like above that per valid. Sure, I'll enter and I'll take it. I don't know, man. Hold on. Set up in the dark future. Open up. Children of the sky. Don't take no for an answer, no, no. Right here, spread love. Everybody join together now. One place, one heart, one unity. Everybody say. Jesus. That would have been so nice. We're right up there on those highs. I mean, we can still have an entry on a retest, but it's just, wow, that would have been TP right there. it's whatever. I would want to see a retest. That really has me so well, but whatever. Could have been 1,300 again today, and I could have passed the other account. What do you feel? It's dry. Oh man, really missed out on $1,300 today. I literally had it. Take her down, bro. We were doing so good today of controlling the emotion, everything. I could have just let it go, bro. Fuck. That sucks, man. That sucks. Wow, man. That sucks. That really do suck. All right. we're gonna miss that. Fuck. No, dude. Oh, that really sucks. My God. Well, what a pain in the ass. Fuck. Open up the sky, what do you feel? You see? Alright. Open up the sky, what do you see? Oh, I'm gonna go on Instagram. I'm gonna see everybody cut the move, and oh my lord. This is about to be annoying. Fuck. Hold on to the children of the sky.
to stay. Well, hold on. Instead of messing with our future, open it inside. Well, hold on. One day you will have to answer to the children of the sky. Well, hold on. Will have to answer to the children of the sky. Children of the sky. You can find the people. The kind that only comes from high. If you ever meet your inner child, don't cry, no, no, no. Tell them everything is gonna be alright. Children of the sky, don't take no for an answer, no, no. Right here, spread love. Everybody join together now. One place, one heart, one unity.
Can we take these highs? Let's see if we can take those highs. It's not too far away from those highs. Oh my god, I just realized something. I didn't even had it on 25, so that was a waste either way, pretty much. Because that was so L. No way. That's so dumb. It was like the one move that we had. What I hit twice, pretty much. Damn, bro, I could have twice, bro. How am I gonna do that twice? Twice. How am I gonna do that twice, bro? This shit's about to hit too. Damn, man. Fucking pain in the ass, bro. I got a feeling that I just can't erase it. I missed out on $2,000 today. I'm gonna pass the account. The good thing is we maintain our rules. Pretty much maintained everything, bro. Tight, bro. I'm so tight. That really sucks. Damn, man. That really sucks. In a race, running behind, it's on my mind.
It's on my mind. I can stick all that.
Oh my god. Feeling that I just can't erase.
feeling that I just can't erase. Just a feeling that I want to be high because it's something that it's on my mind.
There is some stuff I kind of have to go do really quick. So I do have to take care of that. Feeling that I can't erase. Running behind. It's on my mind. Can't erase, I got a feeling I'm later. We have lower time. We have lower time frame positioning right here, so I mean, kind of depends on what he really wants to do right here, real quick. I don't mind taking that right there. It's alright. Do it again, but I've already made me stop like 3 times, bro. Oh, bro, how am I gonna miss out on those products? Oh. Well, that was a little pain in the ass. Oh my god. Yo, I swear to God, man. We got done dirty today 3 times, bro. Like 3 times is crazy, bro. Alright, I'll catch you guys. I gotta go do some stuff.